Hello, ACT customers. Thank you for joining us today. We're going to be talking about our newest ACT rate plans, the Growth Suite. I know a lot of you have been receiving some emails from ACT as well as us, Platinum CRM Consulting, your ACT partners. I'm Deborah, and with me is going to be Renee and Bridget. And we have a special presenter today, Kevin Miller. Kevin Miller is ACT's marketing automation expert, but we consider him a marketing rock star. So we're awfully pleased to have him help us through learning some more about the marketing automation and how it works with our CRM and the ACT Growth Suite. Today's agenda, we're going to keep to 1 hour as promised. We're going to be light on PowerPoint. We just have a couple of slides. Kevin's going to do a lot of demo for us, and then we're just going to end on a few more slides. Let's get started here. So our audience today are going to be current ACT subscribers on legacy price plans or off-plan customers. Both types have been receiving the email notifications from ACT, and everybody's going, what is this? Well, hopefully today we can help you understand what's going to be occurring with your current service plans, or if you're going to be joining us again with a current subscription, what does that entail? So ACT has evolved over the last several years from a CRM platform to include marketing automation into a single product, the ACT Growth Suite. ACT Growth Suite is designed and has a number of innovative features and tools to help businesses grow. And we want to stress that today in how this product can help you and your business and automate a lot of the functions that you normally do day-to-day activities. So they're offering the ACT Growth Suite Professional Plan is going to be the new rate plan and is being offered to customers such as yourselves at a significantly discounted rate compared to what you see advertised on ACT's website. So let's see what's included with the plan. We have the ACT Growth Suite Professional subscription includes ACT Cloud Service with 4 gigs of storage. It gives you the web, mobile, and Windows access where ACT is hosting your database. Or you can have the self-hosted, which you all have currently. All legacy customers are going to be self-hosting. The new plan gives you the option to do one or the other or a combination of the both, all included in the price. So there's no additional costs or fees unless you need more storage or, again, some extras. You do get the cloud service, or you can continue with the self-hosting. It will also include the professional tier of ACT's marketing automation. It has 10,000 emails per month, so you can send to your contacts within that plan, the 10,000 emails per month, as well as there's a lot of bells and whistles that Kevin will be covering today and show you what you can do with that service. It's really powerful feature, and it has the standard technical support, has the membership benefits, as well as the compatibility updates and new features and releases, which we're having a new release next week. The version 22 is coming out. So with that, let's get started. Kevin, can I pass it over to you?
Yeah, all set on my end. Thank you.
Okay, great. And you should have the controls. Great.
Alrighty. Well, thank you for the introduction. Thanks everybody for joining us today. So I think the objective today is really to kind of go through and give everybody a kind of a high-level overview as to, what the marketing automation solution is, how it works inside of the system, what are some of the kind of the key things you can do with it above and beyond, a traditional email marketing system, and then how kind of the systems can facilitate things like nurture marketing, etc. So we'll go through a couple of key things. First, let me give you a little bit of background on where all this came from. So ACT/SwiftPage had gone out and acquired a company called Inbox Guru, who was a really good marketing automation tool that really focused heavily on being able to facilitate the creation of a wide array of different kinds of campaigns, nurture campaigns, drip campaigns, bulk email campaigns, etc., and do so very easily without really the need to have any technical skills, HTML background, stuff like that. So this was a really good system that was in market already. I actually was a user of the system, Inbox Guru, myself, for a period of time. I was using it in an environment that was sending out somewhere in the neighborhood about between 800,000 and 2 million emails per month on the system. So it's an industrial strength application. It's not, some, little app that just popped up. It's been there. It's been in market for many years. It's been tested, and it really strong in a couple of areas in particular. So when a CRM system and a marketing automation system connect for the most part. What you're talking about is two completely separate relational databases that have to synchronize and communicate back and forth with each other. And whether you're Salesforce and Pardot, or two completely separate applications, oftentimes you have to have two databases synchronizing back and forth and back and forth. And this can be troublesome sometimes, because you've got to maintain the data set in marketing, and you got to maintain the same data set in your CRM. Again, that can be troublesome, and that's usually a failure point. So one of the things that ACT did well was when they went out and they integrated Inbox Guru into the solution, they really bolted it directly into the application. So when you're in your main menu here, and you go to select marketing automation, it's a child menu to the parent menu. So it's a parent-child relationship between the applications. You've got your core ACT database with all your CRM functions, which you're all familiar with. And then when you open up ACT Marketing Automation, you're not navigating to a separate app. You're not having to go log in somewhere else, because it's not, in this particular case, its own separate app. It's an app within the app. Everything that you do here is marketing oriented. However, it feeds off of the main database, and predominantly it feeds off of groups. Okay, groups in ACT replaces what you would typically do in a marketing system like list management, segmentation, things along those lines. We use the groups, and we use the data inside of the CRM system to create segments that we want to communicate with. And the best way to describe it is to give you a real world example. So I'll come back to the marketing system in just a second. Let's say we have customers, and we want to create a new customer segment where we've got new customers that come on board within the last 24 hours. We would go in and we would create a group in here, and we would group it under like a customer segment. And let's say, just for example, that we've built this group out, and we save it in here. And essentially what we're doing is we're looking for new customers. Maybe we measure the date that somebody switches from prospect to customer. And if it's within 24 hours, we put them into this group. Now, what we want to maybe do is create an email that goes out to welcome new customers. Okay, and how we would do that is, first and foremost, we would come into the marketing automation system, and the first thing we want to do is we want to build the email. And typically what you do in any email marketing system is you'll build one or more templates, and these templates will be used over and over and over again for campaigns. So basically what you're doing, you're kind of creating a base template, like here's one for ACT, here's one for Swift Page ACT, where you create a base template, and then that's the campaign format that we use over and over. And it's important to stay consistent when you're sending out communications over time, because it's kind of it builds a brand awareness. When people see the same thing over and over from you again and again, they come to associate certain things with you. So we may want to create a template that has a certain look and feel. So I'm going to go in and we're going to select template. Let me give it a name. And there's a couple different types of templates. There's a sales template. This is more like a text-based template that we would use for sales prospecting. The marketing one is one we use most often, and we're going to use an editor, an email editor called drag and drop. All right, so let me go ahead and hit create. And what drag and drop means is you simply drag elements into a design area to build your email. You don't have to code. You don't have to, use WYSIWYG editors or anything along those lines. It's a click and drag editor. Sometimes people call them block editors. Anyway, a couple different names for them. So what we've done is we have a template area that has a general format to it. It has a structure of what most emails look like. Now what happens is, from here, we've got to go in and make whatever changes, additions, or deletions we want to it. For example, we may go in and say, here's my headline. Okay, perhaps I want this to be a little bit bigger. And now we're really just doing word processing. And maybe I want to center justify it. And there you go. And we have a subheading here. Maybe I want to get rid of this. I don't want that. All right, so we have a header. All right, we'll save that. And then down here we have an image. This is an image block because it has a little icon for an image. So what I can do is I can click on this and then come over here and say I want to change this image out. And I have an image library that we host in the marketing automation system. It's an image library that you can populate by directly loading, either individually or importing, like from Google Drive or whatever, my JPEGs, my PNGs. Okay, or I can go out and do a free photo search. Now I can say, let's say, you can go and just type a word. Let's type swing, see what comes up. You know, we've got swings. If I find an image I like, okay, I just hit import. Now, this is like Shutterstock or iStock Photo, but you don't have to pay for it. It's included in your license, which is really nice because it basically eliminates the need for you to have to go out and deal with having to purchase images, right? That can be expensive. So it's included in there, which is a nice feature. Or again, we can load up our own images. And when you do, you just hit insert and it puts it into the body of your email. All right. Now, there's other things we can do, like we can add call to actions, which is, it can be whatever. You could just have a word that says click here, or you can put buttons and things like that in. It's oftentimes nice to have buttons and things like this in your email for call to actions. And over here, we actually allow you to style buttons and create your own buttons. So we can come in here and say, I want to change this to green, and I want to make it a little bit bigger, and I want to link it to a certain URL. All right, there's other things we can do with it as well. I can come in and say, I want it to be, you know, center justified, etc. So you can go in and basically stylize your own button or your own call to action. You can put that wherever you want. You could take it away. It doesn't really matter. I want it to move it, I can take it, and I can just basically pull it up and change positions. Click and drag and drop, block editor, etc. Now, when I say block editor, what it means is I can grab a block here and I can pull it in. And then from here, I can say, what do I want to put in the block? I have content. I can put just about anything in there. I can put a video, I can put an HTML code, I can put a button, an image, text. In this case, I'll throw text in. All right. So there, I've just gone ahead and I've put text back in. That's it. Okay, so it's really that easy to go through the process of basically building out an email. Now, one of the things the system does for you, which is really, really convenient, is as you're building it, you could put it into preview mode. And as you put it into preview mode, I can check and see, what does this thing look like on a desktop, but more importantly, what's it look like on a mobile device? Okay, mobile devices open more than 40% of emails now are first opened on an email. Okay, and so a lot of times what happens is people will open an email on their mobile, and if it's something that catches their attention, etc., they'll come back to it on desktop later on. Or they may proceed with it right there. But anyway, it has to look good on a mobile. So one of the things you find with what we call mobile responsive designers is they do a good job of resizing. And that's what this is. So if I flip over here, you see the image is this big, and I flip over here, the image is this big, it resizes the image, okay? What they don't often do is do what's called stacking. Okay, let me show you what that means. All right, so you see this text in here, and the text in there, it stays exactly where it is. Let me give you an example of what I mean by stacking. So let me go to the rows and let me pull something in like this. And over here, I want to put an image in. Okay. And let's drag an image, and we'll browse. And let me grab probably just grab a logo. And let me grab text and put text in here. Pardon my typing. All right. So what's important when you're dealing with mobile design is not only that I have to resize this image, I also have to stack it. Meaning I don't want to leave it side by side. I want to put one above the other. And the system is smart enough to know that the stack should be, comes first, so this, therefore I'm going to put it on top of this, okay? And then I'm going to resize the image appropriately. So what this means is this is a pure 100% responsive designer. I don't have to worry about checking my work. I don't have to worry about thinking, is this going to look good? And do I have to be concerned about the Google platform or the iOS platform? It doesn't matter. The system's going to do all the work for you on the back end, which is really important. Okay, so that's great. In my humble opinion, this is the best email designer on the market. It's a tool that's been bolted into the application. It's extremely simple to use. It's extremely fail-safe in building and designing. It's just that good. I would put this email designer up against any in the market. I've used most of them, and this is just perfect. It's elegant, it's simple, it gets exactly done what I need it to get done. It even makes putting in social buttons easy. I click on this, I can change the styles of my social buttons. And then if I want to add a social, I just go boom, add a social, grab an icon. Here's my Pinterest, and then I just put the Pinterest in. I mean, it is extremely, extremely easy to use, which is great. You know, we don't want to have to go out and code and deal with that, etc. If you do have templates from other systems and you just want to import HTML, it allows for that. You can actually bring in the HTML. So we build our email templates, and now we want to build programs. So let's go back to the example. We have a couple of examples that we could talk about. There's a couple I'd like to give. So number one, let's talk about you have a new customer and you want to send out a welcome email. All right. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and build an email from scratch. I'm going to hit new campaign, and we'll call this the new customer welcome. All right, smart tag would be customer. This is basically putting in a search tag. So if 2 years down the road you have 400 campaigns in here, this allows you to put in a word and search it. Okay. Workflow templates we have, like if you were doing event marketing or sales processing, there's a couple of kind of workflow, and more of these are coming. We're just going to stick with the basic email marketing. Number of emails. You can choose the number of emails you want to put in your program. Now, again, this system builds both drip campaigns as well as bulk as well as nurture. We're going to stick with one for right now, but you could, if you wanted to, say, I want to build a series of 5 emails over the course of a month. You could do that just by selecting 5 emails. We're going to go about it a different way. As you build a group over here, like that new customer group, it's instantaneously available here. Okay. So again, this is because we're not having to deal with multiple databases. It just makes life so much easier. And then who we want it to come from. So you can put it from a common email address, you can put it from the record owners, etc. There's a couple of different ways we can go about that. So let's go ahead and hit create, come into the main design window. Now everything is done graphically in the system, so that if you start getting into like multi-step campaigns, it's easy and it's a universal view. Like it's not a different view between building a bulk email versus building a 15 step nurture campaign. It's all the same. What you're looking at is a simple bulk email. We have a starting point, instant release, send the email, and you're done. Okay. Now instant release is a little bit scary. If I were to go out here and say I want to activate this, within a few minutes your email is going to begin to process and execute. Now what you can do is, if you like, and I usually recommend this, is I like to change this to, let's say, 30 minutes. Okay. There's not a marketer in existence that hasn't pushed the send button on an email and went, oh crap, what did I just do? So I like to build in buffers, right? So when you go over here and you hit activate, you've got a 30-minute window to go and fix something that you may have forgotten to fix. So it's a nice little fail-safe. I love this feature. Next up, we can edit the email. I simply click on it and hit edit email content and go, and then I'm right to where we just were. All right, I'm back. Now, back to where I was. Now, I can go and I may have had, like, let's say, for example, I may have saved a much more elegantly designed template that I could just put in. I don't really have to change much except the salutation. The main difference between working in a template and working in a campaign email is typically that you're going to put in merge tags. So we may go in here, and a merge tag could be any database field. So we could say, dear, so let's say first name. I have to sing the ABCs. Okay, there we go. First name. So hello, contact first name. That'll put the person's first name in. As long as you've got good data in your database fields, you can personalize on anything. We could put, we're thrilled that company name has become a customer. Thank you for buying product name. So you can really kind of go down into the weeds in terms of personalization. Okay. So that's, again, the main difference between building a template, and then once you use that template in a campaign, the main difference is you'll add your merge tags at that point. Okay, let's go back out. All right, you became a customer, and we're going to send you an email. Now I could save this, and one of the things that I can do is I can do what's called campaign list sync. So campaign list sync is a nice feature. What it allows me to do is say every day at, let's say, I don't know, 6 a.m. I want you to go out and ping the database of ACT and see if any new people have been added to the group new customers. And if so, put them in the top of the campaign and start sending them emails. it will fully automate that. That comes into play, if we're doing like a customer onboarding campaign, etc. And in those cases, we may not want to send just one email. We may want to send more than one email. So what I can do here is I can say insert an action after the email and call it an email. All right. So now we send an email, and then we wait. Maybe we're not one day. Maybe we wait 1 week. Maybe we don't want to bug people on the weekends, so we'll say exclude weekends. And I send you the first email, then I send you the second email. And again, it's the same thing. If I click on this and edit the email content, I just do exactly what I was just doing. I'm going to insert another one. All right, and it's going to be an email. All right, and maybe this time we'll wait, let's say 14 days or 13 days, no weekends. So now, let me move this up and just resize it so you can move it to however you want so you can get a full view of it. All right, maybe this is our customer onboarding campaign. A 3-step email over the course of the first 3 weeks that you're a new customer. Somebody becomes a new customer. We set up campaign sync. Boom, every day we check and see if a new customer came in. If they do, we put them in the beginning of the sequence. They get email 1, they get email 2, and they get email 3. All right, and that's kind of the essence of drip marketing. Now, other practical applications of drip marketing may be, maybe you have an event coming up, an annual event, and we want to build a sequence of emails leading up to a certain date. You can absolutely do that. And you can go in, and when you're building your drip campaigns, you can say, instead of time interval, I want this email to go out on this specific date. I want this email to go out on this date, this email. So if you're building a sequence, it can be relative dates like this, where people can be added to it every single day, or it can be something like an event where people are basically, getting a series of emails on certain dates. So we covered a little bit of the bulk. We covered a little bit of the drip marketing, and we can get into the really, really deep stuff and talk a little bit about nurture marketing. So let me get us back to where we were. I'm going to remove this email. And let's remove this one. If you've ever used a nurture marketing campaign designer, you will have not found one that's easier to use than this. If you've dug into anything like Eloqua, or if you have dug into anything like Marketo's, put on a lab coat and go to work, and you're going to be there for a few days. I'm just literally building this stuff in real time, and it's as easy as it looks. Now, we looked at a bulk email, we looked at a drip campaign. Now, the thing about a drip campaign to keep in mind is it's a sequence. It's a linear sequence. Somebody goes in the beginning and bump, they're going to get all those emails no matter what, unless they unsubscribe. Nurture campaigns, which is what we'll get into now, are a little bit more conditional in nature. So I'm going to say insert an action after this email and make it a decision. My decision is going to be, did you open and click a specific URL in the email? And let's say they clicked the button. Just forget that says Facebook, and just pretend that we had a button to click to download something. And the question we're asking is, did somebody do that? Now, 1 week is a little long because the vast majority of emails are opened within 2 days. So let's say 2 days. All right. Save. And let's say the answer to the question is yes. We don't want to end at this point. I want to basically change this action type to a call. All right, so let's say we send out that nice white paper, and we want to know if you downloaded it. And if you didn't, I don't necessarily want to end the campaign at this point. I want to change the action type to email. All right. All right, so let's take a breath and see where we're at. We send an email out. We wait 2 days. Did you open it? Did you do what we asked you to do in the email? The answer to that question is yes. I'm going to schedule a call. All right, now I'm going to edit the call script, and I'm going to say, hey, salesperson, call this lead. They are interested in X. All right. I can do it to a particular person, or I can do it to the person that's assigned to the record. All right. And there's use cases for that. Let's say, for example, you've got an inside sales team, and the inside sales team's job is to pre-qualify all inbound leads. Well, I could send all of the clicks to them. Or if we're doing a nurture campaign for a sales rep's prospect list, and I want to make sure the rep gets all the notifications, then I would say use the account manager, and it's going to automatically default to whomever is assigned to that lead. And that's going to show up in their task list as a call. Okay. So, the perfect marriage of marketing and sales is represented here. And it is that marketing is doing their work. They are sending out content, eliciting responses, generating interest from prospects. And as we capture the interest, or we capture that interaction that's meaningful, we are engaging sales and say, okay, sales, now is probably the right time to try to pick up the phone and call this person. It's proven fact. I mean, this is years and years and years of data supports this, that, people are more willing and apt to pick up the phone and talk to somebody when the interest is high. And it doesn't have to be a call. I mean, it can be a call, a phone call, and you get a voicemail, you leave a message, say, hey, thanks for downloading. And I'm going to send you an email, with some additional information. It's a way for a salesperson to hopefully get directly engaged with a prospect who engaged with you. Okay. So, the perfect situation is, sales comes in, salesperson comes in, they're having their coffee in the morning, they fire up their screen, they look at their to-do list, and they've got 7 to-dos which were automatically generated from campaigns that marketing's running. I think if you sat around a table with salespeople, you wouldn't find one that would complain about that workflow. And then, of course, if they don't do what you ask them to do, then we could try again, right? So we could say, okay, well, we're going to wait now, and we're going to send you another email. And maybe what you do is you try a different subject line, you try a different call to action, you try different content altogether. And what you're doing is you're trying to elicit a response with something, different. And then if they do what you asked them to do that time, okay, then you could continue down this path and say, okay, well, now insert an action after, and I want it to be a decision, and now I want the decision to be basically what I just did. Well, did you click on what we asked you to now, right? And you can see where I'm going with this. If yes, so we'll add the yes branch, and the yes branch would be a call. And if no, the no branch would be an email. Or maybe we end it. It's really kind of up to the designer on how far you want to take this. I think there's my recommendations with folks, especially if you've never done these type of campaigns before, is keep them very, very simple to begin with. Don't get out over your skis and start to kind of try to design a 15-step, 3-month-long campaign. Part of the problem with that methodology is you have to really be aware of changes in content. Is what I'm sending out now going to be relevant, or do I have to go back and I've got to kind of keep track of all these different emails, et cetera? It could be a little bit unwieldy or unmanageable. So keep them short, get sales engaged where applicable, and these are great little campaigns that you can run for sure. Big fan of them. So that's kind of the area where you're dealing with nurture programs. One of the things I'll mention is, as these people are having interactions and sales goes over to their task list, and again, hopefully in that fictitious world, they are coming in, they're turning on their to-do list, they're seeing a bunch of marketing campaigns. Okay, cool. I saw that, Chris had responded to my email. I've been trying to get Chris on the phone for a while. Let me go over here in their record and hit campaign results and see what Chris did. And I can come in and see the exact, link. If I hit the plus sign, what did they do, right? I see the last link was clicked, and you can see the links that were clicked in there. So you do kind of get the ability to then go and see that behavior as a salesperson before you pick up the phone and call, and hopefully garner some information that's useful in your phone call. Now, it was alluded to that there's a release coming up. There's going to be some changes to this, and there's going to be some additions to this, and in terms of what is going to be available. It's only going to improve from here. So there's some, this is kind of basic email marketing information is available within the contact record. One of the things that you'll see, and this is pretty cool, is you have website activity, website visitor tracking. There's always those funny jokes that say, hey, I was literally thinking about a product the other day, and now it's appearing in ads all over the internet. That happens from persistent tracking cookies, and these systems use them as well, first-party tracking cookies. Basically what happens is if you complete a form that we've tagged, like on your website, or if you click on an email that's been sent from the system, a first-party persistent cookie is placed on your machine, and then what happens is you can relate somebody's web activity to their actual email address. Okay, so I could say I know that Kristen from Inbox Guru, okay, looked at 3 pages on my website. I can click the little eyeball, and I can see here's the date we logged that information, and here's how much time she spent in seconds on each page. Okay. So this information, this website visitor tracking information, ultimately is going to be made available in the contact records as well. So I'm not 100% sure how that's going to, surface with the new releases, but just keep in mind that that is coming, and that's information that salespeople typically like to get at as well. Right now, there's reports that are generated in the system that can basically be, sent to reps today, so they can get access to the information. It's just inside the customer record that's coming. Okay. And there's this type of tracking is a theme throughout the system. Like, for example, assets. Okay, if I'm a sales rep and I want to send out, links to PDFs like marketing collateral or even videos, you can house those assets inside of here under the assets. And then you get some information about how many people are clicking through and looking at these things, how many people are clicking through and looking at my PDFs. The cool thing that you could do, this is a little bit different, is that I can actually throw little lead capture forms in the PDF or even on the video. So let's say you're watching a YouTube video that we push out. We could set it that at a certain minute or second, you could pop a little form that says, hey, do you like what you're seeing? Put your email here and we'll send you some more information. And you can actually do the same thing with a PDF, believe it or not. If they're using the web reader, the Adobe Reader in a browser, as they're clicking, you could say on page 2, pop a form. And then we capture those leads. Okay, so you see here we've captured 9 leads to this PDF, or to this YouTube video, I should say. And then what you do is when you come in here and you go to the dashboard, you actually see that we house those leads in here. So there's some pretty cool stuff that we could do with assets in the system. It all goes to that kind of theme of being able to, track and manage people's behavior and try to figure out which behavior is interesting enough to pop an activity with sales. Now, all that behavior in these systems typically rolls into what we call lead scoring. So let me get in here and get into scoring. What scoring does is scoring allows you to go in and assign value to certain things. Like I can add a rule that would say if somebody goes to a landing page and completes a landing page, I'm going to give you a value of 25 points for that. Okay, and I'm going to do that in a look back period of 120 days. So in a rolling 120-day view, I'm going to basically say any landing page that you complete, I'm going to give you 25 points. And what you do is you start adding these rules. For an email click, I may give you 5 points. All right, and then you can come in here and say on a particular campaign or any campaign, right? Or an email within a campaign. Essentially what you're doing is you're assigning a relative value to someone's behavior. Okay, if you came to my website and looked at a page on my website, if you opened and clicked an email, if you filled out a form, if you did these things, I'm going to give you points. Those points are going to be added up. You're going to have an aggregate value, and I'll push that value into ACT. And once inside of ACT, we can use our groups then can take over. High value leads that are have a score value greater than 25. And that could be a static group that, basically your sales reps can go in and access and see who are my hot leads for the day. Right. So, that you start to kind of get into the whole world of lead management and things along those lines, and the system, supports that well. and will continue to support that well. And those are going to be areas where this system is going to continue to grow in functionality, which is exciting stuff. I mean, at the end of the day, the reason why marketing automation systems and CRM systems have come together in the first place, frankly, is because sales has lost control of information dissemination to prospects. When we think about how we used to sell 15 years ago, your salesperson controlled the flow of information going to prospects, and they would do that by doling out pieces of collateral. Here's a case study, here's a white paper, here's a product brochure, here's a quote, here's a customer reference, right? That information flow was predominantly controlled by the sales department. That is not such the case anymore. Today, 100% of the control and the dissemination and the consumption of sales information is held by the prospect, by the buyer. And they know what they're doing. Millennials are 35 years old now, and they've grown up with Twitter and holding a phone in their hand 20 hours a day. And they go out and they consume this information and find this information, and they're very good at it. And if you're not out there playing on their field, you're not playing. And we need to be pushing content out to the web, but we need to be able to understand and realize when people are accessing this information, and then how do we engage with them when they're ready. And that's what marketing automation systems are really good at. CRM systems are not good at that, okay? So, and they never will be. CRM systems are meant to manage an internal sales process. They're not meant to manage a buying process. That's where I've always drawn the line between the two systems. CRM manages the selling. Marketing automation manages the buying, okay? And having those two systems married together puts you in a better position to deal with customers on the fields in which they play. And this isn't relegated to enterprise sales. I don't have to be IBM. I don't have to be a large pharmaceutical company. I don't have to be a Fortune 500 company to have these rules apply. These rules apply to the landscaper, to the real estate agent. Okay, everything's done online today. So it doesn't matter how big you are. It doesn't matter what you sell. It doesn't matter who you sell to. What matters is that 99.999% of consumers have a way of going out and getting information about products and services that they want to buy, and that's on the internet. So you've got to put yourself out there. You've got to bend your processes to that reality. That's not an opinion. And again, these systems do a really good job of that. So I think that's a good kind of general place to stop and see if there's maybe questions we want to field.
Kevin, I did want you to show one more thing that I think is going to be helpful for those that don't feel like they're going to be doing email marketing, is maybe the landing pages, doing web forms and surveys, and
Sure.
that'd be great.
Yeah, absolutely. What I'll tell you though, so landing pages in this system, it's a bit of a misnomer. I mean, you can go in and you could build a very simplistic page in the system. I can come in here and I can build a page, and the page is going to have a basic structure to it, right? It's going to look like this. This world, I don't really go in and really change much. If I'm okay with building a form on a page that looks something like this, then yeah, I mean, I can absolutely use this as a landing page designer. If I need to build really highly stylized pages, and multi-menued landing pages, this is not the tool for that. What this tool is really, really, really good at is if you have a website with forms on it already, we can basically create code that tags your forms, or we can even just create a form that just gets dropped into your website. So for example, let me see if I can get here, Cornell Ironworks. All right, so here's a good example. So these folks I know are, were basically a customer of Inbox Guru. We see a contact us page. All right, everything you're seeing here is basically a tagged form. Okay, it's a form that was already built on their website, etc. So what we do is we come in here into the product, and let me go back out 1 second. I want to go somewhere else. And we create a form wherein we generate the same exact fields that exist on your website: first name, last name, business email, phone, company name, etc. And we create those. Get rid of this. in here. All right, we create first name, last name, company, telephone, email address, and we create the same exact fields, and then we map those fields. So when I hit edit here, and I go ahead and enter this field, I say, here's your email address. Is there a default value, yes or no? Is it required? Okay, and then where do we want to map it to an act? And here's all my fields in act, right? So essentially what we're doing is we're creating the instructions by which when you capture a piece of information on a form on a website, where does it go? All right, so then once we're all done with that, once we create those fields, and you can create lots of different kinds of fields. If I go in here, we can create single text box, we can create drop downs, hidden fields, labels, checkboxes, multiple checkboxes. There's all kinds of different fields that we can generate in here. When we do that, we generate a little script here. I don't want to get too much into the bits and bytes. We generate a little script that basically your web person then tags to this. And then from there, we take over with workflow. So what I mean by that is we can come in here and we can do something with leads as they fill out forms on your website. I come here to Cornell Ironworks, I fill that form out, then boom, I can add them to a drip campaign. And then I select my drip campaign. I can add them to a group over here. New web leads. I can create an activity here, a task for sales to follow up on. I could pop a notification, which is an email that we send to a sales rep. Hey, you have a new lead that came in through the web. I can create an opportunity if I wanted to. Right, so what the system is really good at is capturing information from your existing forms on your website and then taking action against them. You can use it to create a standalone page on a subdomain, and you can style it, and you can use, kind of like almost like the email designer to design a template for that. The reality of the situation is, though, like landing pages and subdomains, they've fallen out of favor over the years with Google. Google does not like subdomains. So if you're trying to improve your SEO and improve your website and improve, the traffic to your website, it's best to steer clear of subdomains. So you can either embed one of our forms directly into your website via iframe, or if you have an existing form, as was the case with Cornell Ironworks, you can just tag an existing form on your website. So hope that clarifies what the system does.
Well, Kevin, thank you so much. That was very, very helpful for
My pleasure.
the
Yeah, for
webinar
sure.
today. And let's wrap
Yeah.
up.
Well, again, thanks everybody. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Kevin. And let's continue on. Okay, so we just wanted to put together a couple of little ideas on how you can use that professional product. So you can create the web forms for different location products or services to be able to identify where that lead came into, have it populate that database, and from there you can assign record ownership if you have salespeople, and then create campaigns and have them respond back with adding that contact into the database, and it automatically generates an email out to them. So some really slick stuff, and be able to automate those things that we have taken the time to manage. Now we don't even have to think about it. It will do it for us. You can also create campaigns for an ID status, such as a lead older than X number of days. So your stale lead, send them an email. Are you still interested? Or here's a special promotion. You can create campaigns off of opportunities, possibly in a stage longer than X number of days, trying to get them moving along into that sales process. Create campaigns based on another campaign results. So again, when we talk about being able to do those searches in our database for campaign results, and then put it into a group and have that group be sent a different message. So really powerful tools to do that follow-up for us. Now, what ACT is offering in the transition of the price plans is going to be the ACT Growth Suite, professional version. But with the professional, you do get the interactive email template editor, you get the landing pages, the lead capture, the surveys, the drip marketing, real-time campaign metrics, and the marketing calendar. So again, all of that is included in that professional rate plan, and you also get the 10,000 emails and the standard support. There are some additional levels of the Growth Suite. There is the Premier and Ultimate. I would say start out with the professional, and if you find you need some additional features or functionality, we can go up into the tiers or additional products that are available. That brings us to marketing automation services available. We have experience in working with the system. We've implemented it in our own business, our own website. We can help you get started as well. So we do offer some services for the marketing automation and how to get that working for your business. So we can help you in segmenting your database, the template design, campaign development, landing pages, forms and surveys, also implementing that automation, and we do offer training. So if you want some help with that, we are here to help you. And with that, we appreciate your time today. If you have any questions, please reach out to your Platinum representative. And if you don't know who your rep is, you can send an email to sales@actplatinum.com. So again, thank you so much for your time, and we welcome any and all questions that you have about moving forward with the Growth Suite product.